Hey, what's going on, y'all? Tony Scott here with a live inside the Smooth R&B 105.7 studio. Smooth Ride Home going on right now. One more hour until I give way to Janet G, who's in for Sean Andre tonight, who's on vacation. And yeah, that Tony's Tea. Some entertainment headlines to grab my attention today. Beautiful day in Dallas, by the way. I don't know if you're living the DFW or not, but we had a great one and another good one tomorrow. They say we may not have any more rain for the rest of the month. We had enough of it for a while, a week or so ago, so we're good. Eddie Murphy. Movie news for Eddie Murphy. He is going to be in the movie Triplet, which is a sequel to the movie Twins. Remember back in 1988, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito did a movie. They were twins. They were test tube twins. Well, now Triplets is going to be the Eddie Murphy way into the franchise. So look for that. Well, there's no actual talk of when that movie would be out, but it's going to happen. Arnold Schwarzenegger confirmed it when he spilled the tea at a panel discussion in Austin at South by Southwest. T.I. and Tiny have paid off their $1.3 million tax bill. They had a tax lien against them since, 2015. The lien was released this month for a payment in full. There's still more financial drama, though, for T.I. His Atlanta restaurant, Scales 925, they got an eviction notice a couple of years ago. He's owed supposedly $1 million in back rent, according to the landlord. His employees also filed a lawsuit against him for unpaid wages. Kind of a crazy story with Nick Gordon. I told you about this a day or so ago, that Nick Gordon was arrested this past weekend for domestic violence against his girlfriend, Laura Leal. It was the second time he had laid hands on her. Well, she has written a letter to the judge saying, you know what, it was all my fault. She says I'm bipolar. She also asked the judge to lift the no-contact order against Nick because she says she needs Nick's love and guidance and wants to speak to her boyfriend again. What is that about? She says her lips were not bleeding, as police said in their report. She says they were just dry and chapped. Now, I'm not saying police officers are stupid, but I'm pretty sure cops know the difference between chapped lips and a bloody lip. I mean, come on, for real. And if you can sing, Babyface is looking for you. And if you're a music producer, he may have a spot for you too. Babyface is looking for both singers and producers for the first ever Discovery Song Camp. It's going to be held next month in L.A., in Atlanta, in Nashville, and even across the water in London. Now, if you want more information on that, go to our website at krb.com. Just click on the Babyface picture to find out how you can be part of that. That's kind of cool if you're into music. Lonnie Love wants Monique to come on the reel and talk about her situation with Netflix and the pay inequality in Hollywood. She says Monique has a lot to say and hasn't had a lot of places to say it. Monique's been on radio and TV talking all about it. Where you been, Lonnie? Where you been, Puddin'? But going on the talk, yeah, why not? No problem at all. I think that the pendulum is starting to swing like Monique's way a little bit. I think people are saying, you know what, forget how the message was delivered. What's the message? And I think that's I said that early on. She didn't say it in the way maybe we're accustomed to hearing, but she makes a point in part of what she says anyway. Let's see. IHOP is apologizing for a server making some black teenagers pay for their food in advance. This happened in Auburn, Maine, way up in the Northwest. Location is temporarily closed for sensitivity training. You know what? I don't get the sensitivity training thing. That never works. Does that ever work? Has that ever worked? That doesn't work. You can't change people's way of thinking. No. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe you could change people. I don't know. I just don't. This is like a waste of time for me. Sensitivity training. Maybe because I don't need it. I guess. I don't know what the deal is on that. The server said it was a generational thing why they had to pay in advance. It had nothing to do with race. IHOP says no. The person who witnessed it, because the kids that she aimed at, the black teenagers, they were not out of pocket at all. They were very courteous. They were not loud. They were not unruly. They were just four very polite people who wanted to have a meal, and they were made to pay for it in advance. Someone else saw what happened. They blogged about it, and somehow it made its way to IHOP, and they were like, no. Can't do that. So there's that. Also, a lot of students walked out to school today protesting gun violence. And an interesting topic because there's a lot of parents who are, proud card-carrying members of the NRA who didn't want their kids protesting guns. Where do you sit on that, though? I mean, did your child walk out of class today with that, with your approval? Did you tell them they could not? I'd like to know if you want to comment about that. I'd love to hear that. And in Milwaukee, I don't know if you heard about this. In Milwaukee, 100 people, including some high school students, have tested positive for syphilis, for HIV, or for both. It's being called one of the largest STD clusters in Milwaukee. The number of people is really at 125 plus 3 babies. 19 have tested positive for syphilis. 24 have syphilis and HIV. 33 have HIV, have tested positive for both. 26 people could not be reached or refused to be treated. That's how it is. There's some people who just have been exposed to it, but they just don't want to know whether they have it or not. Never quite understood that, but what's for them is for them. Just stay away from me, because I don't understand that. That's like having it and not doing and not telling anybody and continuing doing what you're doing, because you may have it and you're not saying you're just going to continue with your life. I mean, that just makes no sense to me. But that's what I got as far as tea and then some today. So whatever you guys want to comment on, you can. Hello to Brenda, who's checking in, and Kiki is also in the house, and Regina. Thanks so much for saying that. Love St. Louis. Sherry also checking in too. Evelyn is saying hi, and Nada. I'm doing great. How are you down under? Down under. Hope everything is good. Tiffany, how you doing? Debbie is in too. Hi, Debbie. And Willa's in the house. Nada's been missing the live shows, but she says she's getting ready to go overseas with Mom. Where are you going? Are you coming to the States? Or are you going, where are you going? You're going traveling abroad. Well, you know what? If you don't want to tell me, it's none of my business. That's okay. I understand. Elaine, how you doing? Regina, no, you can't. What are we talking about here? Refresh my memory here. You can't. No, you can't, Tony. That's crazy. What does that mean? What are we talking about? Alicia agrees with me that it wasn't that the racism. It wasn't generational. It was racist. It was what it was. So there you go. People, let's start making our own pancakes. They can be microwaved now. Well, you know what? Yeah, but sometimes you just don't feel like cooking. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, you know. Nick's girlfriend needs help. I would not take him back. And, you know, Brenda, I see what you're saying, but you have to be in her shoes. And I'm not making excuses for her. Some people say, well, he hasn't hit her hard enough yet for her to say, okay, I've had enough. Maybe that hasn't come yet. Maybe it will come. Hopefully it won't get to the situation like Bobby Christina. I'm just wondering, what's it going to take? Did you see the video of the minor league baseball player that beat the crap out of his girlfriend in the stairwell of the hotel? Now, this happened some years ago, and the video had just came out. And if you Google it, I tried to get it. I ran out of time. I wanted to play it for you, but he hit her hard. He hit her harder than Ray Rice hit his fiance. And when this video became public, he got dropped from the team he was playing with in Pennsylvania. At the time, I think he was playing in Corpus Christi for Texas Rangers minor league team. So, Nada, have a great night yourself. All right. Penny, how you doing? Nada, you gonna be on vacation for 6 weeks? That's a month and a half. We'll be in summer by then. Wow. Yes. Thank you, Sherry. I love you too. Appreciate you saying that. Your son walked today at Cass Technical High School in Detroit, and you're proud of him. So he walked out of class to protest the gun violence that's going on in schools across America. There's this, I forgot what state it was, a politician who says, you know what, these are adult decisions. Basically, I'm surmising what she said. She basically said, these are adult decisions, stay in your lane. She won't have that job for too much longer, I don't imagine. You're going back home to Lebanon. Wow, okay, well, be safe, Godspeed, and then we'll see you when you get back. Wow, have fun. Wow, that's great. Regina says changing people's mind about the sensitivity training. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's, you know what, I just don't get it. You can't change people's minds, you know, and obviously there are exceptions to the rules. We found people who have left white supremacy groups because they could no longer take it and they wanted a different way of life, and I respect that and admire that, but for the most part, people are in their ways, man. People are in their ways. And Homeda, good evening to you. You think, Donna says, I think the walkout allowed them to feel like they were making a difference and not feel helpless. But I think they are making a difference, you know, because there's a lot of seniors that are registered to vote, and they're getting registered to vote. And change is going to come. When these politicians find out that these kids ain't playing, and they get old enough to vote, and they are old enough to vote, and they keep the momentum going, I think that's going to be a wake-up call for a lot of politicians, because you are about to get called back. You're gonna get voted out, and you know what? That's a good thing. But the people we vote in, we've got to hold them accountable too. You know, we really do. Have these people not heard of the experiments on black men with syphilis so they won't get treated? Yeah, well, you know what? The Tuskegee experiment was, a lot of people don't know about the Tuskegee experiment, but yeah, that was the thing. And in St. Louis, they did something with that smelly part of, where is that, in Bridgeton? That was part of an experiment. Have you seen a documentary on HBO about that? Wow. You should see that if you haven't. No excuses. You're talking about Nick Gordon's girlfriend and the support system for her. You know what? I don't know. I know the first time he beat her, she ran for help from his mother. She ran to his mother to get help, and his mother did help. Bobby Brown said this week that he'd be more than happy to help this young lady out so she doesn't become another victim. But apparently, you know, oh, but I love him. I love him. You know what? One of those kinds of things, and she don't know. She just don't know. That's all I'm saying. It's spring in Lebanon, really. So we're already we're okay. All right. Well, I think we're in spring, aren't we? In spring? I think we're in spring. I think so. Regina, thanks for asking. My family's great. My wife and my youngest are here. And my oldest plans to come up to see them on Friday because they're leaving Saturday. But I think today my wife and Maria went to a museum or two to visit a museum. They had to come by and drop. I left my phone at home, so they had to come drop off my phone. I didn't ask them to. I just couldn't find my phone. I was like, well, I won't have my phone today. But next thing I knew, she dropped off my phone because my wife, she's that chick, you know? She's that chick, that woman. There you go. Carolyn, you registered to vote in high school? When I went to high school, there was no voting. It was that long ago. It was that long ago. Yes, I went to school in a log cabin. Yes. Good for those kids to stand up for their rights. Absolutely, Brenda. That's absolutely true. And for those that can vote, it's going to be, you know what? These kids have gotten galvanized, and they are not playing with these gun fanatics. Here's the thing about the guns that, you know, the president, I've heard him say this before, that the Democrats want to take your gun rights away. The Democrats cannot take anybody's gun rights away any more than Republicans can. That cannot happen. There is so much red tape involved in changing an amendment to take your gun. They're not taking your guns. They just want to make it harder for people who don't need to have guns. You got your guns. You got your gun fair and square. Enjoy your gun. But for the people who have guns, who shouldn't have guns, these are the people that they're talking about. Why can't you guys separate? Are y'all that stupid where you can't separate the two? Come on, people. Come on. Jump on board, man. Good. Why do we keep having to have this conversation? I don't understand. What's so hard to understand about that? Nobody wants to take anybody's guns except for the people who ain't supposed to have guns in the first place. And I'll tell you something else. I've said this before. There are guns in the streets now. That's what needs to be addressed. The guns that are in the street now. Not the guns that are at the gun shop that people can buy easy. There are too many guns in the street. Guns are too easy to get if you know the right people. You know? And I agree. They're making conscious decisions concerning their well-being. These kids are today. And I think that's a great thing, too, Christina. Very good. Diane, how you doing? Yeah, Alicia, you got to see the documentary. It's on HBO. My old friend Doc Winter sent me a text. He goes, dude, did you see this, man? He goes, we live there. Did you see this? I said, I lived there longer than you. Look at me. I'm only 20 years old. This is what happened to me. So we get spring on the 20th of March officially. Okay, I got you. Next Tuesday then. All right then. Elaine says she has never been hit by her husband, but mental abuse is just as bad. That's why we're not together now. People got to wake up. You're exactly right. I'm one of the fortunate people in the world who grew up witnessing a man who loved his wife. I saw that firsthand every day. And when I think about it, I'm so thankful to God that I had that opportunity to see my father kiss my mother goodbye every day, and she kissed him when he got home. And how much he cared for her and how much he took care of her. I got to see that firsthand, and it helped shape the way I think as far as my wife. I will die for this woman. I'm just saying. So, do we need to think about teachers carrying guns? Doc is great. Doc is, he remarried. He's married again, and he's got a baby boy on the way. So, no, he's doing great. He's the program director for Real 92.3 in Los Angeles, and he is the senior president of urban programming for iHeartRadio. He's big time. He's big time. And you know what? He's big time, and he's still the same guy. Still the same guy. Still the same dude who just likes to share knowledge and help people learn. That's just him. It's just in his DNA. I don't know if he got it from his mother or his father, but that is just him. And he's a wonderful husband, and he's a great father to his 3 girls, and I'm sure he will be to his baby boy too. So there you go. But he's doing great. Too many guns in the street. Too many young people with him. Yep, call the police. That's the thing. You know, people don't want to. You know, and that's funny. That's always been the funny thing to me. People don't want to. They don't want to snitch because they're scared. Okay, I get that. But people like, I don't snitch, man. This is my hood. If it's your hood, your number one mission in life is to get out of the hood and better yourself and your family and your siblings and inspire people. That's what you're here for. Just because the hood is bad and don't mean you got to stay there. Who the hell? Where'd that rule come from? Who the hell made that rule? You know, Cassandra says, I'm going through it now. A man wants to mentally abuse you in front of your kids that are not his. Then put them out. Put them out. Put them out. You don't have to take that. You don't have to take that. You do not have to take that. Evelyn says, I don't think teachers should carry guns. And I think you're absolutely right. Teachers carrying guns are not a good thing. If something happens at the school, SWAT goes into the school, how can they tell who the bad guy and who the good guys are? How can you tell that? How can a teacher fire on someone and miss them? Then who are they going to hit? Are they accidentally going to hit another student or another faculty member? There's just too much possible that could go wrong with a teacher carrying a gun. What if something pops off and a student reaches for the teacher's gun in a scuffle? What happens then? The gun goes off. You know, little Mary sitting over there by the side, she gets hit by a bullet because she was minding her own business. That has to happen. See, I can't see any of that happen. There's just too much that could go wrong with that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, good evening to Agnes as we get ready to wrap up here. Oh yeah, I'm running late, so I'm getting ready to go. So, but that's just my argument. I think teachers with guns in schools is a very bad idea. There's too much that can go wrong. That's just me. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this evening. If you can go and follow me on social media, Tony Scott Media on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. My YouTube channel is This and That Media. Subscribe there. It's free. Click the bell to get notified when we put a video up. All good. And hey, Polly, how you doing? I appreciate your support. You guys are so good to me. Donna, you're a school nurse, and you will probably quit your district if they choose to have teachers carry guns. I don't blame you. You know what's popping off in that school. You're there every day. So I understand. So, Brenda, have a great night also. Thank you, everybody, for doing this interaction thing. This is why I do it, because we go back and forth with exchanging opinions and thoughts about stuff. And this makes it just so fun for me. I look forward to this every day. So hopefully I'm delivering what you want and then some. So have a great evening. At Homeda, have a great night. Be safe, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you.